friends, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Eliza Fortney and I'm a freelance illustrator and designer. Today I'm going to be talking with you about how to draw the head from a side view. This is the third video in the head drawing series I've created, so if you haven't checked out the other videos, I will be linking them in the description below so you can follow along. I recommend checking out those videos first because I will be skipping over a lot of the steps, the initial steps in this last video. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, go check them out now and I'll meet you back in this video when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to start by drawing a circle. Now from here we are going to extend the line from the edge of the circle, just going slightly down at a curve. Now you don't want to be drawing it down straight like this. You're going to be wanting to curve it slightly in toward the circle. And again, we want to remember that this is a three-dimensional shape, so just keep that in mind as you're drawing. And then we're going to draw a line going through the center of the circle, and we're going to stop about halfway in the middle, and you can make a little mark if you want to, just to mark that. Now from here we're going to create the ridge of the nose, so right at these lines where everything intersects, we're going to create a little arching shape, so almost like a little half circle, just right there, not too big. And then from here we're going to bring this line down at a curve, and then from here we're going to bring this line down at a slight curve to the left, again not going straight down, and then from there we're just going to attach the two lines, and you have the beginning of the side of the face. Now we're going to just block in the nose and the mouth. So in order to keep things pretty simplified, I'm just going to draw a little nose protruding out. And so basically, if you want, you could just do like that kind of a shape. So going from the ridge, arch, and bring it back. Now for the lips are going to protrude out of the face depending on your character style, but what you can do is just to draw some simple shapes. I'm just going to go like that. So basically what I did is I curved out and in, out and in, almost like you're drawing waves, vertical waves. Okay, so then from here we are going to create the chin. So we're just going to bring it out a teeny bit, not too much from the jaw that we have, and then back. Now from here we are going to keep the ear in line with this top line, or the top of the ear in line with that top line. We're just going to bring it arch up, curve it around almost to the bottom of the circle, and there you have the ear. And I'm just going to create a little arch and half circle on the inside of the ear just for a little more definition. Now I always like to add in the neck, just to remember it's not a floating head, it's part of a character. So from here, can you almost create like a nice S shape. So the neck isn't just going to be a straight neck like that, unless that's the style of your character, that's fine. But in order to match a little more realistically with a human head, think of it as an S going from the back of the head through the bottom of the neck, and then remembering that the jaw does connect with the neck a little bit. So I'm going to bring the neck a little bit down and then bring it into a parallel line with the back part of the neck. Okay, so from here we can add in the eyes and the eyebrows and the lips and some more definition to the nose. So for the eye, we are not going to be drawing it quite the same as we did the front facing eye. So I am going to start with a circle, and the top I'm going to keep about in line with this horizontal line. Now since we're looking at the eye from a side view, I want you to think about the eyelids covering up the eye. So say that this is my eye. I'm almost going to create a little wedge for my eye to sit in, right? Because the eyes don't just sit on the very outside of the head. Now that could be funny for a cartoon, but if you're looking to draw a little bit more of a realistic eye, the eye sits inside the head. So from here, I'm going to draw the top eyelid and then the bottom eyelid. So the end shape of the eye ends up kind of being just like that. So if you want, you could just draw a curve, not quite half a circle, and then draw in another curving line over the top of the eye, curving down toward you. And then at that corner, do the same thing with the bottom. And then if you want, you can bring a top and a bottom line so that it looks a little bit more like an eye. Now the pupil does protrude a little bit out of the eyeball itself, but if you're not going for a very realistic character, you don't have to do that. So from here, I'm going to add in the pupil, and then just from here, I'm going to curve the eyebrow up. Now the eyebrow does not come all the way to the end of the head. It just kind of arches over the eyeball, like so. Now the side of the lips can be kind of tricky to get right, but what I like to do to keep it simple is I just arch it up if I want to make it into a little smile. So I have my lips and then my chin right here. From here I would just arch it down and then bottom curve it up. So downward curve, bottom curve up, and then just connect this divot right here by adding in a curved line, and then you can have a mouth. That's pretty simple. So that's just what I'm going to do with this character. I will demonstrate what you can do for a different style with my next character. And then from here, we can just block in the hair very roughly. So I'm just going to make this a girl with a very simple hairstyle. Remember, we do not draw the hair flat against the head. We want to make sure that the hair has volume, so it's a little bit above the head. And then bringing it down like that, and I'll just indicate that there's a shoulder. So I'm not going to go into detail about the hair. If you want a little bit more detail on the hair, you can review my other videos, but I'm just going to be leaving it blocked in very roughly like that for now. So that is one example. Oh, before I forget, I'm just going to add in a little nostril on the bottom of the nose, and then a little half circle on the side for the nostril. But yeah, side noses are super simple. So that is one example of a side view of the character. I will do another example. Now this is a slightly more stylized example. So we're going to be skipping a couple of the steps that we did before. So I'm going to start with a circle as usual, and then from here I actually want this to be a younger character, and with a younger character or a more cutesy character, you tend to bring everything in the face lower on the head. So instead of creating a horizontal line in the direct center, I'm going to be adding it a little bit lower, so about the bottom third of the circle. And then from there, I'm just going to be bringing a little curve out for the nose, and then I'm not going to be bringing the jaw down quite as far. And I'm just going to be arching it up about halfway under the head. So as you can see, I did skip a couple steps, but I'm still keeping those steps in mind when I'm doing this. So I recommend practicing all the steps I did before moving on to the more simplified version. That way you get used to placing everything where it's supposed to go, and then you can play with proportions and things like that. So from here, we're going to just very lightly curve in the nose. And if you want to just keep your character very simplified. You don't have to worry about adding in all of the shapes for the lips. You can literally just draw a smile on the very edge of the face and all will be well. So from here, I'm going to add in an ear. I'm going to make this ear a little bit rounder and bigger, so a little more stylized. And then for the eye, I'm going to actually create a shape for the eye. So I'm going to just arch to the right, curve down, and then very lightly curve the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do right here. And then add in the pupil. And I'm going to give him a little bit of bigger eyebrows. And again, I'm going to keep in mind that S shape for the head going into the neck. And from here, I'm just going to roughly block in the hair. I'm going to say his hairline is right here. And just bring it up and around, remembering not to drop flat against the head. Bit of a wonky hairstyle, but that's okay. So there is another, can't forget the nose again. I'm just going to draw the nostril. I'm not even going to draw the side nostril, just as a style preference. But yeah, that is another even more simplified version of drawing the side of the head. Now this step I think is probably the easiest, but I would recommend learning how to draw the front view and the 3/4 view, at least the front view first, just so you can get used to placing all of the facial features and before you move on to the side view. And then I would also practice all 3 of these views, that way you can get used to drawing turnarounds if you want to go into character design, because turnarounds are basically drawing the character at all different angles, and if you know how to draw the front, quarter view, and side view of the head, you're pretty much good to go. So I just quickly going to pull up an example of an illustration I created with this side view. So as you can see, I just put this character in a background and I used all the steps that I talked about before and just erased my sketch and did my line work after I did my line work over my sketch. I don't want you to worry about getting everything perfect on your first try, because this takes a lot of just repetition. Honestly, that's a lot of what learning to draw is. It's a lot of just muscle memory and repetition. So don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged if this is hard at first. Just keep practicing and you'll be able to continue improving. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time in the next video. Have a beautiful day, friends. Bye!